Good morning, people. It's that time of the week again. It's a Friday, and this week feels like it's been a slow week for me. It seems like the week's gone really slow when life and the years usually move kind of fast. But anyway, the films that I watched this week, it's Friday morning, and I begun the week with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, I wasn't crazy over the first Sonic the Hedgehog film, but I watched this one and I enjoy it much more. More faster paced to me. You've got Knuckles, you've got Tails, Robotnik is back, Jim Carrey's having a blast. It's all about the Master Emerald. Everyone's after the Master Emerald. And end credits for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I liked that as well. I thought, very nice, just like the end credits in the first one. So I enjoyed that one so much. I went back and watched the first Sonic the Hedgehog, which I think I gave a 5 to. Well, I enjoyed this one much more. Much more. So I give this one a 7 as well. I don't know if it's because I just watched the second one, but it moved along at a quicker pace than I remember it. But anyway, both Sonics get a 7, and I am looking forward to a third one. Then I started another round of James Bond films. I watched Goldfinger, which I give an 8. The Spy Who Loved Me, a 7. Casino Royale, Daniel Craig, I gave a 9 to. I like that one. Then I watched Skyfall, because I'm never sure, do I like Skyfall the most? Do I like Casino Royale the most? Do I watch them back to back? And I prefer Casino Royale. But Skyfall got an 8. Thunderball, a 7. And The World Is Not Enough, a 7. So there we go. Then I watched Island of Lost Souls with Charles Lawton, based off the island of Dr. Moreau. You know, this guy here does experiments on people, turns them into beasts. You've got the House of Pain, and these people end up on the island. You got Bela Lugosi as the hairiest man in the world. But you know, solid film, 1932, solid film. Maybe a bit tame today, but I give that one a 7. I like it. I've always liked it. Then a film I thought I'd seen before, but I haven't. Splash. Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah. You all know this one. Kid gets saved by a mermaid. Then, was it 30 odd years later, they meet again. But he doesn't know it's her. No. A solid, decent 80s fantasy type film. 80s full of these types of things. I'd give it a 6. Solid. No need to watch it again. Then from 1970, a film I thought I'd seen before, but turns out I hadn't seen before. Rio Lobo with John Wayne. And I want to say somebody else popped up in this that I recognise, but I don't have it written down. But it's set into motion with a spectacular robbery of a Union pay train by Confederate guerrillas. The train's Colonel John Wayne jails the enemy's leaders. Chris Mitchum, Robert Mitchum's son, that's the one. But the three men later become friends when the war ends. Together they seek the Union traitors responsible for a string of Confederate train robberies. A mission that culminates in a rousing shoot-'em-up finale. The third film, Rio Bravo, El Dorado, and this one, the third film in that unofficial trilogy. I liked it. I give it a 7. I honestly thought I'd seen it before. I still think I've seen it before, but I don't remember it. So that one's a 7, John Wayne. Can't go wrong with John Wayne most of the time. Then a film from 2022. My Best Friend's Exorcism. You guess what this is about? Yeah, it's an exorcism film. Bunch of girls, there's 4 of them, maybe 5 of them, I don't know. They go to a lake house and one of them gets possessed, but they don't know she's possessed. She starts acting weird, out of character. You've seen it before. And they find out they've got a demon in her, so they've got to get it out of her. Their best friend get it out of her. But whereas an exorcism was usually done by a priest, this exorcism is done by a fitness guy who goes around schools with his brother showing his fitness equipment off. I give it a 5. It was set in the 80s. Had a lot of 80s music in it. First time watch. And probably the only time watch. Did I say I watched A View to a Kill? If not, I watched A View to a Kill as well. I give that one a 7. Then a rather horrible film, The Offence. Sean Connery, first time watch, 1973. Sean Connery's a cop, and he's interrogating a suspected child molester. Then he snaps, and it's a very grim. There's absolutely no comedy in this. There's no light relief in this. There is nothing. It is a horrible film to watch. It is dark as hell. It's grim as hell. It's miserable as hell. You get the impression Sean Connery's not a nice guy. But then all the shit that he's seen, can you be a nice guy when you see all the shit he's got to deal with? But yeah, a very grim, horrible film to watch. I give it a 6, but the acting was very good. Sean Connery was very good. But there's absolutely zero enjoyment in this film, at least for me. Then I watched this one, which I've seen before. It's a Hammer film. I always pronounce it Paranoiac. It could be, it could not be. It doesn't matter. But a Hammer film, a forgotten gem from Hammer Studios, or so they say. You have Oliver Reed and his sister Eleanor. He's a, what's it call him here? A brutish alcoholic, and she is a nervous wreck. Coming to their late father's parents' inheritance. He wants it all, so he's trying to get her to go mad and put her in an asylum. But then she sees a lurking figure, as it says here, of their long dead brother, Tony. Is this figure real? Is this figure an imagination? It's kind of ordinary until we get towards the end when things pick up and you get to see what exactly is going on. But Oliver Reed had a presence to him. A very good actor, but he has a screen presence. And he has that screen presence in here. A decent film, I give it a 7 out of 10, 1963. Very much worth a watch. I just don't know how many times you'd want to watch it. I've seen it a couple of times. I don't remember anything of it. Definitely didn't remember, the back end of the film. So there's that. There he is, Crazy Eyes. But yeah, give that one a 7. Then I watched the last Lord of the Rings film, give that one an 8. Then from 1993, which I thought it would have been a straight up 80s film, called Prison Heat. And IMDb's little synopsis of it is this. 4 American babes on vacation in the Middle East run into trouble when they are imprisoned by a corrupt army official. They're trying to go into Turkey. They're crossing the Turkish border. The guards there find cocaine on them. They end up at this women's prison where the guards and the guy in charge, they're pigs. There's a woman prisoner who's top dog, so to speak. She's a bitch. There's lots of good-looking women, and they get naked a lot. You see lots of flesh, lots of boobs, lots of arse. You see lots of everything. but it's dreadfully acted, and it has a good ending, a somewhat excitable ending. I like the look of the prison they're in, but I always think with these films, why are they made? And who exactly are they made for? Like, for all these people that say James Bond is a rapist, he takes advantage of women, he forces himself on women, watch Prison Heat and get back to me. I give it a 3. Really not very good, but still better than X, in my opinion. And then the last one I watched late last night from 2020, starring Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Xenia Onatopp, Famke Janssen, The Postcard Killings, based on a James Patterson book. My mother reads James Patterson books. I don't know if she's read this book. The book's probably better, it always is. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a cop. He's in Europe. He's searching for the serial killers. There's 2 of them, husband and wife, who killed his daughter. They arranged the dead bodies in a certain way. You'll have to watch it to see what it is. But then more murders happen, more dead people show up, and it's the end. Maybe the last half an hour, maybe it picks up as it goes on like that. Because for the first, I don't know, half an hour, even 45 minutes, I was thinking, do I want to watch this? Should I go to bed? But I stuck it out and I give it a 6 in the end. Decent, solid, uninspiring, unexcited, just okay. So that's everything that I watched this week. It feels a somewhat better week than last. So that is it. I'll be back next week, all being well. So bye-bye, people.